What is going on, you guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon. It's been a while since we've done one of these. I know it has, but I'm excited to share here a stock that I am buying, a new stock that I'm adding to my portfolio. Actually, just this morning, so literally prior to filming this video, I made my RRSP contribution this year. And if anybody, here in Canada is thinking about doing that, you literally have a day, maybe 2 days, depending on when this gets posted before the deadline, to make that contribution into your RSP. I just made that. So now, finally it feels like I have some more cash to play with. You guys know that over the past number of months, a lot of my money has been going towards my mortgage, and I haven't been able to make as many stock buys as I would have, liked to. I'm just excited to have some money in the account and finally can go ahead and make some purchases. And right here, guys, I just want to share with you almost like live as I'm going through this research, what I'm seeing, what I'm liking, and highlighting this particular stock. I haven't actually purchased it yet, but it is very likely going to happen this week, just as I do my final due diligence and whatnot. But I'll kind of share with you high level what I'm looking at. And the stock is Lockheed Martin, ticker LMT, trading today for $431 USD. We're seeing the dividend creep up almost at that 3% range, so 2.92% today. This is a stock that I am eyeing for my RRSP. FYI, I think it'd be very suitable in really many different accounts. But for me personally, that's where my money is, I just said. But also I do think it would be a nice little home for it, given the fact that this is an American stock. It is a dividend stock, as we'll look at later, quite reliable in my opinion. Let me start by saying, obviously, the nature of this company, if you're familiar with it, you don't have to like this stock. And I'm not telling you to, support it, or I hope you don't judge, my selections or whatnot. And I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm doing. And this is a stock that, in all honesty, I've really liked, since I've been an investor, and it's always been on my radar watch list. And I don't believe I've owned it. I have owned Raytheon in the past, which previously was United Technologies, spun off Raytheon. That did well, but I had to sell that when I purchased my condo. And thus far, fast forward today, I don't have any exposure to this defense segment. So this is one that I think might fit well. But for those that don't know, Lockheed Martin is the world's largest defense contractor, and they're very, very famously known for their fighter jets, right? So the F-35 fighter jets. This is actually an area that has, a lot of people are pinpointing this as, the weaker area of their business. Maybe a reason why the stock has kind of drawn down. There's been delays and some demand issues, even supply chain issues, really. And this does make up a big portion of their business. So the fighter jets are a big portion of revenue. And that's why, at least the way I like to approach this stock, and actually many other stocks, is I like buying into weakness with a stock, like sometimes warranted weakness, if I feel it is more short term and the long-term prospects of the business are still very much intact, right? It's not to downplay what's happening with some of the weaker numbers as of recent, but over the next 10, 15, 20 years, which is my time frame as an investor, probably even 30 years to be honest with you, if I can find a business that I think has the potential to continue doing its thing, these weaker periods are actually what draws me in. I like buying into these really opportunities is the way that I look at it. And I do believe Lockheed Martin fits those categories for me. And just to talk about a few reasons why I like this stock, we could talk about a moat, which is something you hear about all the time. Really the backlog is one of the things that jumps out to me always with a company like this or any of these types of companies. But it does provide me comfort knowing that they're sitting on a record backlog of $160 billion, right? These are essentially orders to be filled, like a backlog. This is a number that continues to grow, and it is essentially looking at it like a reliable stream of new business to come in the future years that does, in a sense, in my opinion, at least balance the short-term headwinds that they're facing. 160 billion, it's just these numbers are kind of crazy to think about, but very typical in a space like this. I actually just think from a valuation standpoint, the stock is looking attractive. And what I mean by that is they're currently trading at a PE of about 15. So 15.18 is what I'm seeing. This is below their 5-year average, sitting here at 17.43. It is well below the index average at 23. And if we look back essentially on this chart, just back to like, let's say even 2015, as far as it goes on this screenshot, these are some of the lower levels that we have seen. And I'll touch on it at the end. I don't think this stock is by any means like dirt cheap or an insane value, but I think it's at a very, very fair price to consider starting a position. And that's exactly what I intend to do, is to start a position. And if the stock continues to come down, actually, that's something I don't mind whatsoever. But a 15 PE I think is very reasonable, considering you have a strong, reliable growth company. The dividend here I really like as well. Like I said, it's trending up towards that 3% range. And I've been monitoring Lockheed Martin, for years. It's been on my watch list or radar, and I'm used to seeing it in that 2.5% range, which is kind of like what I would consider more or less a baseline. Well, as the share price has come down, we see this dividend start to creep up. Again, maybe another indicator that it is dipping into undervalued territory. The dividend metrics across the board, I believe, are quite strong. We're seeing 21 years of growth. So a company that's continuously increasing their dividend. They're increasing it at a nice clip, 8.18% over the past 5 years, and a very sustainable one at that. We see a 43% payout ratio, meaning that they're not stretched by any means, to pay out these dividends. They have actually a lot of wiggle room to do so, and I would continue to see that. I believe to continue to see that going forward, even with some of the stress on the shorter term numbers. I think like one thing maybe that is on my mind and is a consideration is that like this, 2024 is of course an election year, and election years are always a big, especially for a stock like this, which is very like politically tied. A lot of political like influence, and obviously the budget's allocations and whatnot. This isn't like a play to like speculate on what's going to happen. I would consider the stock, whether there was like a Democratic party in power, whether there's more Republican, those things do ebb and flow. Like it changes the defense spending. I personally, in my opinion, I think like national defense spending is going to be here forever. I just think it's kind of like a part of life, and especially living in like the Western world, that's just where money goes. Whether you agree with that, whether you think it's like moral or not, that's not really like the point of the discussion. I think there will be spending, and I think there is a strong case that, if, for example, like a more favorable party comes into power later this year, this would be potentially a benefit, right? Like a benefactor of that. And I mean, you just look around the world, like the situations we have in certain parts of the world and all the turmoil and like growing tensions. It's sad to say, and like obviously it's not something I'm like for or like promote, but I just think it is a reality of our world that like war and like going out and battling and that type of thing, it's kind of just like part of our nature. Personal opinion, again, I feel like I'm here to just share my personal opinion. You don't have to agree, and I very well could be wrong. But when I think about kind of like just the next 10, 15, 20 years, I don't see this industry going anywhere. In fact, I only see potentially, if you're weighing it, like things to pick up. And that's why actually I am more like bullish and optimistic, not just on Lockheed, but if you look kind of at the entire sector, even a stock that's like so, hated right now, like a Boeing, and like rightfully so, I think that might be a very fair consideration, or even like a General Dynamic. These stocks are in an industry that I think is just like potentially one to hold. And like I said, when I look at my portfolio, this is an area from a diversification standpoint that I'm like, I think it could warrant a little spot. So like I said, I just wanted to come with like a quick little update. Hopefully, you guys like, make sure you're subscribed or like this video if you enjoy or miss these videos. Now that I have like capital to play with, so many more reasons to come film videos and share updates with you guys. Like transparently, as you guys know from the other videos, it's just because I haven't been making that many, stock purchases and kind of sharing what I'm doing. But now that I have that money in there, like the coming, weeks and certainly months, I'm just excited to like deploy more capital and make some adjustments with my portfolio. You guys know on Blossom, which we just passed 100K users. So if you're not following there, it's a free app. You absolutely should check it out. You can see the entire portfolio and trades as they happen, like not just for me, but there's 100,000 plus other users, Canadians, some Americans as well, and there now too. You can get tons of amazing ideas on there. That's where was I going with that? There's a link down below where you can search it up in the App Store. But like I just haven't been making that many purchases, as you guys know. But I'm very excited for that to change, and I hope you guys appreciate me at least sharing an update always do your own research and due diligence. Like, I could be very, very, off with this pick. I'm just sharing with you guys what I'm liking. But I would love to hear your opinions down below. What do you think about this one? Is it a good consideration, a bad one? Like I said, at today's levels, I do believe the stock is trending in an undervalued territory. And I say that based on some of the other analysis that I look at as well in terms of price. I think it's a very fair buy. I don't think it's like a screaming value at the moment. But for a really reliable long-term play, I'm happy to start the position here, likely later this week, and then look to build that up and see how the market reacts over the coming weeks and months, and then make a call on like that next tranche of purchase. Anyways, guys, thank you all for watching. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Of course, our academy is down below if you are interested in the market. If you're in the market for courses and training, check out Blossom. Leave a comment down below if you're still watching. Because, I missed the comment section too. It's so long. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.